You've sourced some amazing items, you've taken pictures of those items, and now you have to list them, and you're at a loss for how to look up comps and price those items. So in today's video, we're gonna be talking about how to look up comps and how to price when it comes to listing items on Poshmark, eBay, Macari, and Citizen. Stay tuned.
Won't nobody love you the way they should. Won't nobody check up on you, make sure you're good. Won't nobody check those body tremors for your neck.
Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park and I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark, eBay, Macari, and Citizen. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about one of the final steps when it comes to listing an item, figuring out how much you're going to list it for. Before we talk about that, I just want to take a moment to thank everyone who has been watching all of the videos in my Summer Listing Challenge series. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what the Summer Listing Challenge is at the end of the video, but I just really wanted to take the time to thank all of you who have been watching and leaving such helpful comments in the comment sections of those videos and just letting me know that you're walking away with some value from watching these videos. So I'm so happy to hear that, and I hope that this video is no different. If you are new to my channel, I do like to upload videos such as this, where I'm providing a lot of different tips for resellers from the perspective of someone who resells part-time. And I also have a what sold video that comes out every week, as well as haul videos, just kind of your standard reseller content. So if you're not subscribed yet, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button, as well as turning on the notifications so that you know every time I upload a new video. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about how to look up comps for different listings, as well as how to use the information from looking up those comps to set the prices on whatever it is that you're selling on whatever platform you're selling on. We're also going to look into some different approaches to pricing, because there's not one right way to do anything when it comes to reselling, which is kind of cool because as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we get to run our businesses as we see fit. So I'm going to throw a few different approaches to pricing your way, and you can decide what you're most comfortable with and how you want to go about pricing your items. We'll talk about what to do when it comes to pricing perhaps more rare or specialty items that are difficult to find comps for, or maybe there just are not very many of those pieces. So we'll talk about different strategies for pricing items such as those. We'll dig into each individual platform that I mentioned, as far as how to look up comps on those different platforms and how to price for those different platforms. And finally, we'll end the video with just some different tips on how to price your items. So let's talk first about what are comps. Comps is basically an abbreviation for comparable sold listings. And what that means is when you are looking to sell an item, it makes sense to look up other listings that have sold that are comparable to the listing that you're trying to sell. The reason why this is important is because it gives you an idea of how much that item has been selling for. And the closer you can get to the actual item you're selling, if you can find the exact model, the exact style, the exact size, then you have a better idea of how much it's been selling for and how much you can realistically expect to get for your item that you're trying to sell. People will also use the word comps to talk about looking up existing listings to see what people have items listed for at the current moment, because as you know, retail is always changing. So something that cost a lot a long time ago, and you might see some comps showing really high numbers, and you might get really excited and think to yourself, oh my gosh, I can price this for X amount. Because enough time has passed, that trend may have fallen way down and you may not be able to get as much money for said item. So this isn't the perfect example because it's kind of been a while since this brand has been popular, but if you were to look at comps for the brand LuLaRoe from like 2-3 years ago, you would think to yourself, oh my gosh, like this is the hottest brand ever. I need to pick up as much LuLaRoe as I can find. But if you were to look at comps for today, what LuLaRoe pieces are selling for, you would realize that the trends have changed quite a bit when it comes to how much you can expect to get for a brand like LuLaRoe. I wanted to pause and throw out some more examples regarding this topic. So even right now with the pandemic, there are certain items that have just increased as far as comps, as far as pricing, because of the fact that people are stuck at home. So looking at things like switches and little inflatable pools and puzzles, these are things that people have sold, even before the pandemic, but with the pandemic, people have been able to really kind of inflate those prices and get the amount that they're charging, because one, there might be a really high demand for that item and just not enough of those items in stock at stores. And two, it's because of, again, what's happening in the world and because of the fact that people are stuck at home. And so if you don't look up comps for what things are selling for right now and you just price things because you're like, I know how much that usually goes for. If you're someone that is typically selling things like inflatable pools and, those types of things. But if you're not paying attention to the trends that are happening in reselling, then you might miss out on a lot of profit because you're simply pricing based off of past experience instead of looking at the real-time comps of what you can get for an item. The reason why you want to look up comps both for recently sold listings as well as existing listings right now is because that information should help guide you as far as how you're going to price the item that you're trying to sell. And I think that really there are 3 different approaches to pricing an item to resell. And maybe you can think of some more approaches, maybe you follow a different approach, but let's go through the 3 different approaches. The first one I don't recommend at all, but this is something that you see a lot of people do. I would say more so on Poshmark and Macari than on eBay, but that approach is you have something in your house that you don't want anymore, so you throw it up on a platform like Poshmark or Macari and you list it really low because you just want it to be gone. You don't really do any research to see how much said item has been selling for recently. You don't really do any research to see how much other people have it listed for right now. You just kind of throw out an arbitrary price. You just kind of guess and hope for the best. Oftentimes, these people are either pricing way too high because they have a lot of sentimental value wrapped around this piece of clothing or this book or whatever it is that they're trying to sell, or they price it way too low because they're just trying to get rid of it. And obviously there are some issues with pricing too high. If you are selling, let's say, a pair of American Eagle jeans and your jeans are priced at $54 and everyone else's American Eagle jeans are priced at $28, nobody is going to take a second glance at your pair of American Eagle jeans because they're just way too overpriced. And on the flip side, if you price too low, you actually run the risk of some people not looking at your item because they might assume that it's heavily flawed. So same example, if you have a pair of American Eagle jeans and you have them priced at like $8 and everyone else has them priced at $28, people might not even click on your listing because they might assume that there's just something severely wrong with them. Or on the flip side, someone will see that you have your jeans listed at $8, they get really excited and they buy them for $8, but you could have made a lot more money on those jeans. You just didn't do the research to see how much you should list them at. So that is one approach to pricing, is just to kind of guess and make up a price without doing any research, but I definitely wouldn't recommend that. The next approach that some people take to pricing is they will look up comps for how much people have stuff listed currently. So let's use the example of American Eagle jeans again. Someone might pull up a search on American Eagle jeans. Let's use an even more specific example. Let's say American Eagle high-rise skinny jeans. And let's say they're looking on Poshmark and they pull up a search for, those jeans, and they're seeing comps for items that are listed right now in the $38 range, $30 range, $42, $35, and they get really excited and they're like, well, I'm going to try listing mine at 38 and see what happens. The reason why just stopping there with your research might not be the best way to go about pricing your items is because this person didn't take the time to look at comps for recent solds for these kinds of jeans. And the reason why that might be important is because while many people may be pricing their jeans in that $30, $38, $42 range, that doesn't mean that that's what they're actually selling for. So the third approach, and the approach that I try to take with most of my items, is to look up comps not only for what people have things priced for at the moment, but to also look up recently sold comps. And the reason for that is because I want to have a realistic picture of what this item is selling for. So with the same example of the high-rise skinny American Eagle jeans, if I see that a bunch of people have them listed in the upper 30s, but realistically they're only selling for $25, $28, then I'm going to make a calculated decision to not price my jeans in the high 30s, even though that seems to be the going trend for how people are pricing these jeans. But I might just go ahead and price my jeans at $32 or $30 because it will seem lower than some of these other prices that other sellers are pricing their American Eagle high-rise skinny jeans at. But what that means is people are most likely to click on my listing, and even if they're going to send me an offer, they're probably still going to send me an offer that's similar to the most recent sold comps that I saw. I'm also also not listing right at where they're selling. I'm still leaving a little wiggle room for me to send out offers to likers, for me to message people on closet clear out days and offer to drop the price, but I'm keeping myself competitive by pricing a little bit lower than everyone else, but still high enough that by the time someone makes an offer or someone accepts an offer of mine, I'm going to be able to make the same amount on those jeans as the most recent solds. Now, obviously, there is a little bit more that we have to think about when it comes to pricing items. So for example, with the example of these high-rise skinny American Eagle jeans, I don't know why that's what I keep coming back to, but that's what we're gonna stick with for now. With that example, if your jeans have some flaws, I had a pair of American Eagle jeans that I just sold last week, and they had some major puckering around the crotch. That's a pretty big flaw. Even though you're seeing that there are American Eagle jeans in the same style as yours selling for $28, $22, whatever, you have to assume that with that giant flaw of the puckering, you're not going to be able to get the same amount for your jeans because there's something wrong with them. Some people will even go so far as to specifically look up comps for things in their size. So again, if we use the example of our American Eagle jeans, not just simply looking at comps for other jeans that are similar or identical in style, but also looking at jeans that are in our size. So let's say the jeans that I have that I'm trying to sell are a size 8. As I'm looking up comps, I can use the filters and filter down to just look at comps for American Eagle jeans in the size of the jeans that I'm trying to sell, which is a size 8. And maybe that'll illuminate some more information for you. Like maybe you'll find 8 is a really hot size and you can price higher, or maybe you'll find that there are so many American Eagle jeans that are in a size 8. This is really helpful though in the sense of if you have a unique size. Let's say with the American Eagle jeans, you have a size 16 long, which believe it or not, I have a pair of American Eagle jeans in my closet right now that are a size 16 long. And let's say it's pretty unique and there are no other American Eagle jeans in that style, in that size, listed on Poshmark at that very moment. Then you have every right to price a little bit higher because you are the only one with a listing that is in that particular size. Potential buyers have no other listings to choose from, so they're kind of stuck with yours. And that's how the free market works. Another example of this would be perhaps you are the only one with your particular item in that colorway or in that color. So, even the other day I was looking on Kitizen for Nike Air Maxes, and I noticed that there were a few different colorways, some more desirable than others. And so perhaps there's like one colorway that for whatever reason everyone freaked out about, and you found it and you're about to list it, and yours is going to be the only one in that colorway. Oh my goodness, like you get to price higher than what all of the other comps are saying because yours is unique, yours is special, and yours is more desirable. So it is really important with some things to do a little bit more research because you could potentially be missing out on some huge profits if you just list according to what the comps are telling you. If you don't know that those particular pair of shoes that you have in your possession are in a really unique and special colorway, and you just go ahead and price it according to what the comps are telling you, or if you happen to have the only size of that particular item that you're trying to sell, if you don't know that information and you just go ahead and list without doing that research, you could be losing out on some money. But on the flip side, if you go to list those American Eagle high-rise skinny jeans and you notice that your listing is going to be one of 58 other ones in a size 8 on Poshmark, at that point, I personally would encourage you to be competitive with your pricing, maybe price a couple dollars lower than what everyone else is doing, just so that your listing has the edge. But honestly, at that point, it's going to come down to the game of who is sharing more frequently, whose item is showing up at the top of the search when someone's searching for it. You're trying to sell something that a lot of other people are also trying to sell. So at that point, you just kind of see what other people are listing it for. You do your research to see how much it's been selling for, and you list it and just kind of know and understand that probably you're going to be sitting on it for quite some time, regardless of all the research that you put into pricing it. Next, let's talk about what to do with some of those items that it's really hard to find comps for. And I'll give you an example. In one of the Facebook groups that I belong to, one of my friends from church put a post in that Facebook group, and she said that she was getting rid of this wallet and did anyone want it? The wallet was an MCM wallet. I went to her place, I picked up the wallet, brought it home, and I started doing some research. I could not find another wallet that looked like this MCM wallet anywhere. I did talk to some people to authenticate it. I had to now start the difficult journey of figuring out, how do I price this? Because it was really unique, it was really rare, and I couldn't find anything else like it online. Therefore, what I did was, because of the fact that it was so unique, I decided to price it high. Generally speaking, MCM wallets that were similar to the one that I had in size and even the condition, they were listed for around like $200 to $250, but really selling for like the $100 to $150 range. And so what I did was I shot for the stars, knowing that I had something special on my hands. I priced them at $300, and because of that, I ended up selling them for $200, which is definitely one of the higher comps on Poshmark when it comes to MCM wallets. The same goes for collectibles or for really unique vintage pieces that you may find. Perhaps you bring something home and you start doing your research and there is just nothing else like it listed on any reselling platform. In that case, I think you have the right to find something that is as close to what you have as possible and then list high, because you are the only one with something like that. So really quickly, let's talk about the 4 different platforms that I talked about earlier in the video. And we're just gonna talk about these 4 because these are the 4 that I happen to sell on. There are many other reselling platforms, but I don't know anything about them. So the first platform that we're gonna talk about is Poshmark. There are all kinds of people selling on Poshmark. And at the beginning of the video, we talked about the seller who's just trying to Marie Kondo her closet, and she doesn't really care how much she gets for the stuff that she's selling. And she may undervalue her items, or she may, ask for too much. But there are some people who are pricing their stuff too low. And then you have serious sellers who are either trying to make a living off of reselling, or they're, it's a very serious side hustle for them, like it is for myself. And for the most part, a lot of people will tell you that Poshmark is overpriced. And I understand where they're coming from. They're saying that because most Poshmark sellers will figure out how much they want to get for their item and then price up by like 20 to 30%. And the reason why people are inflating their prices like that is because they're trying to leave room for things like sending out offers to likers, or dropping prices on closet clear out, or even accepting offers from different buyers. So that's why a lot of times, if you're like on Instagram or even watching what sold videos on YouTube, you will hear a lot of resellers talk about how excited they were to get a full price sale, because generally speaking, we resellers are not expecting people to pay the full price that we are pricing our items at on Poshmark. And again, that's because that's generally what the serious sellers on Poshmark are doing. They are inflating the prices to leave some wiggle room. So just like sellers are conditioned to inflate their prices, I feel like in the same way buyers are conditioned to send in offers rather than buying things at the full asking price. Next, let's talk about eBay. And I would say eBay is pretty different from Poshmark in that a lot of people on eBay price to sell. And what that means is the price that you see is the price that they want for the item, and they're not really willing to, leave any room for negotiation, but they're pricing it at what they believe is the fair market value. They're not really inflating the price, but they're listing it for what it's worth. That's probably especially true depending on what kinds of things you're selling on eBay. I do think that there are a lot of clothing resellers on eBay who still inflate their prices a little bit, but generally speaking, eBay pricing is a little bit more on the nose than it would be on Poshmark. Part of the reason for that is because Poshmark's fees are probably among the highest when it comes to any reselling platform. And eBay, while it's not like super cheap either, when you combine eBay fees with PayPal fees, it really comes out to about 13%. And that's not including your monthly store fee if you have an eBay store. But generally speaking, more people on eBay are pricing to sell. And proof of that is eBay's option to price at buy it now, which means potential buyers cannot send you any offers. It's just, this is the price. Kind of like if you were to shop at Target.com or BestBuy.com, you can't look at a shirt on Target.com and send them an offer. Like, the price is what it is, and you have to pay that if you want to purchase that item. And eBay has a function where you can price your items in the same way. You list your price and people can take it or leave it. However, eBay does also give you the option to turn on best offer. And what that means is you're letting potential buyers know that this is the price you'd like, but if they'd like to send you an offer similar to Poshmark, then they can. Next, we'll talk about Macari. Macari honestly is pretty tricky for me just because with Poshmark, people kind of expect to pay for shipping. On eBay, there's kind of a mix. Like, some people, just assume that they're going to pay for shipping on different things. Some people want free shipping. Macari seems to have more buyers who insist on free shipping. Like, they're just used to seeing free shipping on listings, and so they're a lot less willing to look at listings where you have them paying for shipping. Again, that's a generalization. That's not all people who buy on Macari, but there are a lot of different schools of thought when it comes to listing on Macari. So because of that shipping issue, there are some people who will inflate the prices on Macari because they are offering free shipping, but it's not really free. They're just building the price of shipping into the cost of the item. Some people do that for eBay too. If you see that people are offering free shipping, sometimes you'll see that their prices tend to be a little bit higher, and that's because they are building in the price of shipping into their price. But that's something that you see some people doing over on Macari as well. But generally speaking, I do think that people price a little bit cheaper and a little bit closer to market value on Macari than they do on Poshmark. And again, I think it's because of the fees. Macari only takes a 10% cut, whereas Poshmark is taking 20%. So there are a lot of people who cross-list from Poshmark to Macari, and they'll say that they just keep the price the same, even though they're offering free shipping on Macari. And the reason for that is because Macari is only taking 10%, Poshmark is taking 20%, so it all kind of balances out. Finally, we'll talk about Kidizen. To be honest, on Kidizen, it is impossible to look up sold comps because they don't show sold listings. It's infuriating because I have a really hard time knowing how to price kids items because I just haven't done it very much yet. And I would love to be able to see how much things are selling for on Kidizen, but they just don't let you do that. So generally speaking, when you're looking up comps on Kidizen, the best that you can really do is look at what other people have stuff listed for on Kidizen, especially those who seem to be making a lot of sales, and just kind of follow their lead. You can also look up comps for kids items on platforms like Poshmark and eBay, but generally speaking, it's the wild, wild west when it comes to pricing on Kidizen. However, I do find Kidizen pricing to be a lot more similar to Poshmark pricing than I would say eBay or Macari. So I think it's definitely on the higher end. People are listing things pretty high because on Kidizen, if someone puts an item in their cart, you have the opportunity as a seller to send them an offer. And so a lot of people know that things are kind of priced pretty high on Kidizen, but if they cart something, they might get a pretty sweet deal. And so you'll see a lot of people cart things and just kind of wait around to see what you're willing to send them an offer for. Kidizen is also one of those apps where most people will offer free shipping. In fact, if you list or cross list from your computer, you don't even have the option to put a shipping fee in there. The only way that you can have any sort of shipping fee is if you list through your phone or edit the listing on your phone. That's how much they encourage free shipping on Kidizen. So the $1 million question that I get from a lot of people is, do I have to price things differently for different platforms? That's really up to you. Obviously, it's gonna save you a lot of time if you just list everything at the same price across all the different platforms that you sell on. But does that mean that you're potentially putting yourself in a situation where you've overpriced something for certain platforms or even underpriced something on other platforms? Absolutely. Another thing to note on that topic is that some brands do better on specific platforms. So going back to the example of Kidizen, Kidizen is a community of, generally speaking, moms. I'm sure there are some dads shopping on there too, but generally speaking, moms who know a lot about kids fashion. And again, this is a generalization. Some people on there are totally fine with like Walmart brands and stuff, but a lot of the moms who are on Kidizen are there because there is an abundance of brands like Riley and Crew, Livy and Luca, Childhoods. It's these nicer children's brands, and there's more of it on Kidizen than, let's say, a platform like eBay or even Poshmark. So if you have a pair of shorts from Childhoods, let's say, the chances of someone looking for it on a platform like Kidizen is probably higher than the chances of someone looking for that same piece over on eBay. And that's why you can probably get more for it on Kidizen than you could on eBay. That's not to say that you should drop the price of it when you try to sell it on eBay, but it does mean that you may not be able to sell it at the same price that you could on Kidizen. And it might just sit on eBay because there isn't really anyone on eBay willing to pay market value for that item. The same goes for more mature brands. When I think about brands like Talbot's or Chico's, I know that it can sell on Poshmark because I have sold those brands on Poshmark before, but I also know that Poshmark tends to cater to a younger audience, and younger people, generally speaking, are not wearing Chico's and Talbot's. Therefore, when they do sell on Poshmark, they might be selling for less than, say, if you were to have those items listed over on eBay, because on eBay, not only is it a much bigger audience, but you have more people on eBay who are looking for those brands like Talbot's and Chico's. Therefore, you can price up a little bit because people people know the market value of Chico's and Talbot's over on eBay, whereas you have fewer of those customers on Poshmark. So it is pretty important to understand who's shopping on what platform and how pricing differs from platform to platform. And that's gonna help you make the most educated decision when it comes to how you're gonna price things for each platform. And it might be that you have one item listed across 4 different platforms, and on every platform it has a different price. Finally, we're gonna end our video with just a couple tips. One is a website that you can use, and it's not free. It's called WorthPoint, and this is a website that allows you to dig even further back into eBay's history to look up older sold comps. And this can be helpful, again, if you're selling something that's a little bit more rare, or something that's vintage, or something that, there just aren't a lot of those kinds of items being sold on eBay on a daily basis, and you want to dig back to see what the comps are for that item. WorthPoint also has a lot of other valuable information to help you make the best decision when it comes to pricing your items. But again, it does come with a price tag, and I personally have never used it. I've just heard other resellers talking about it. The final hack or tip that I will leave with you when it comes to pricing, and this is something that a YouTube viewer left for me in a comment of one of my videos, and I'm so thankful because she's so right. You want to study up a little bit for the pricing filters on each platform. So a tip that a viewer shared with me was regarding the filters up on top when you're looking for an item. And the reason why this is important is because she noticed that I was pricing a lot of my stuff at $24. I don't know why, but I really like to price my items at even numbers. It's a weird quirk. I don't know what else to call it. But she said, why don't you price things at $25? Because when people are filtering, we're gonna look at the top here, see how, you can slide, and there's all these different filters. We're gonna go to the price filter, and you can price under 25 or $25 to $50 or $50 to $100. So the reason why she was asking me, why do you price your things at $24 is because then if someone turns on the filter of $25 to $50, they're not going to see my item, because it's $24. It's off by $1. Whereas if I price that same item at $25, it'll show up in both the under $25 filter and the $25 to $50 filter. The same goes for if you're pricing things at $49, which, I know I tend to price a lot of things at $48. Wouldn't it make sense to just go ahead and price that item at $50 so that it could fall under both the $25 to $50 filter and the $50 to $100 filter? My mind was blown. That is all the information I have for you on looking up comps and how to price your items when you're listing. I did tell you that I would end the video by telling you a little bit about the Summer Listing Challenge. Basically, it is a group of people who want to create goals for themselves centered around listing, relisting, and cross-listing every day so that they can build good reseller habits. This entire week consisted of daily videos from myself, just creating content to help people equip themselves with the information and knowledge that they need to create listings, to take pictures, to do all of the stuff that you have to do to be successful as resellers. And next week is when the actual Summer Listing Challenge is going to take place. So we have over 300 people participating right now, and basically we are all going to hit the ground running, trying to achieve our listing, relisting, and cross-listing goals, and being there for one another to help each other do it through a Facebook group that we have. And next week, Monday through Friday, I will be going live every evening with a different reseller to talk about one of the topics that I covered this week. So we're gonna go live and help answer any questions that anyone might have, and just, offer that help and motivation and encouragement so that people can achieve their goals. It's absolutely free to sign up. There are 2 links down below in the description if you're interested. One is the Google form to officially sign up to be a part of the challenge, and the other link is to our Facebook group. So that is it, guys, for this video. If you enjoyed it at all, please make sure that you hit the like button on your way out. Let me know in the comments below what was your biggest takeaway from this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.